How to improve your concentration in prayer today if you have ADHD. Okay, so I have ADHD. You probably have ADHD, and prayer can be very, very difficult, especially concentrating. Like, how many times have you gone to your prayer and then suddenly the thought pops in your head? Oh, what am I going to do next? Oh, I still have to do this. Oh, I still have to do that. I mean, everybody has this, yeah, if we're honest. But if you have ADHD, this is amplified maybe tenfold, or whatever you want to say. Okay, so you've probably had this where as soon as you say Allahu Akbar and you're reciting Al-Fatiha, you're reciting, but at the same time, you're thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner, or you're thinking about, oh, the work you have to finish. Even if you're not praying, because you have ADHD, you're constantly thinking about what's next, and you get overwhelmed, right? You're thinking, oh, I need to do this. For example, if you say, okay, let me go to the gym. Okay, let's give an example of the gym first. I need to go to the gym, okay? Now, wait a second, I'm in my bed, but before I go to the gym, I need to have coffee for energy. Wait a second, but before I need a coffee for energy, I need to, wash the coffee machine or wash the dishes. And if I wash the dishes, well, I need to clean the kitchen. And if I clean the kitchen, I need to, but in the end, you get analysis paralysis here. If you want to put it in those terms, you end up not even moving. Why? Because you've just made a mountain out of a molehill. Just go to the gym, right? That's the objective. That's the goal. Our brains don't work that way. Our brains are, you could say, unique. Let's say, okay. So you've had those times where you pray Allahu Akbar and you're thinking about step 1, step 2, step 3, what you're doing next, and it's especially difficult to concentrate when you're in the middle of the workday, when you have things you were doing previously. Especially if you're in your hyper focus mode and you're super, super dialed in to what you're doing. Okay. So there are solutions. Okay. ADHD is not something that can mean you don't have any khushu' whatsoever, any concentration in prayer. Now, be realistic. This is not going to be a solution that, wow, magic and it's never going to happen again. No, but the point is, these are some mechanisms you can use to improve your khushu' today, now, right now. The prayer you're going to make right now, at Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, whatever it may be. Okay, so number one, you have to understand, and this is a reality that you have to accept in order to make the second step and the step 1 and 2 work, that people with ADHD, Muslim or non-Muslim, we need environment. Okay, we need environment. Without environment, it's very difficult to do things. I always like to give the example of exercise, because exercise is tough. You go through pain to get some gain, right? So I've tried countless times. I even bought equipment like proper bench and weights to do it at home, right? To exercise at home. It's not happening. It's just not going to happen. Why? Because, there's a million and one distractions. There's my bed, there's my computer, there's my phone, there are the kids, there's my wife. It's just constant distraction. So what I've realized and what I found out is when I go to the gym, I can pump, I can work. There's no distractions. I'm hyper focused on that one thing, right? So environment is key. Understand that. So now I come to the juicy part. The first part might be hard, especially if you're living in a non-Muslim country, right? But go to the mosque for all your prayers. Oops, got prayers wrong here. Okay. Go to the mosque for all your prayers. Now, why do I say that? Well, the same example as the gym. You go to the gym, you're hyper-focused. You go to the mosque, you're hyper-focused. Now, you probably at least go on Fridays, right? And you realize that feeling you get on Fridays is not the same as praying at home. The distractions are less. They don't necessarily all disappear. But the point is, it's a step in the right direction. When you're there and there's only you and Allah and your brothers praying next to you, there is literally nothing that can get in your way. This is a place for it. Now, similar to going to the gym, right? In the beginning, you're weak. You can't really lift the weights well, but you're there. Okay. Now, the idea is when you're in congregation, I believe it's 27 times better in terms of the reward, but it's unbelievably useful. And there's a reason it's encouraged to pray in congregation. Now, in the Western world, I'm from the UK, we're not used to it as Muslims. Unless you live right next to the mosque, you don't pray your every prayer in the mosque. You'd be lucky if you can do Fridays because of work and school and all that stuff, right? So it's I don't want to say magic, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's amazing. Try go to the mosque for as many prayers as you can per day. Okay. Now, if you can't do that, the second step, and this is maybe not as good, but it will work. Create a prayer space. Create the environment. What do I mean by this? Don't pray willy-nilly anywhere, just in your room over here. Try to create, even if it's in your room, a corner or even a separate room, a space where maybe you've decorated it in a nice way. You've put your prayer mat set there. You put some incense on. You put some Islamic art up on the wall. You've created an environment, kind of like a mini mosque around Salah or a prayer space, right? If you have that down and you have that to the side, that's your place where you can focus and throw away all the distractions. It's not as good as going to the mosque, but isn't it better? Now, try this today. Stop what you're doing. Don't make excuses. No more, tomorrow procrastination, because tomorrow never comes. It takes you're going to pray anyway, aren't you? Now, if the mosque is local, go to the mosque. If it's not, spend half an hour making your prayer space. You can spend more time on it later, but the point is, act now. Otherwise, the khushu' won't come and the concentration won't come. By the way, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I really am not. And I'm just, battling just like you. But there is one thing I want you to do is to have realistic expectations. Don't expect to be on cloud 9 or don't expect to be, walking on water on your first day. Ain't gonna happen. Okay. But there is something important you should know. Every time you bring your mind back, let's say back, it could be in Salah, it could be anything, but let's talk about prayer. You strengthen your soul. What does that mean? It means every time you realize you're drifting and you come back, you are strengthening your either your nafs, your soul, whatever you want to call it, your you, the thing that makes you. The same way when you go to the gym and you're pushing and you're building your muscles, right? You're resisting. Now, when you resist this, you are strengthening your soul. And another thing is true devotion is found in your persistence and fight in you to improve. So Allah only judges us based on basically what we can do, right? He doesn't burden us on more than it can bear. As long as you're pushing and you're fighting and you're willing to improve, God willing, inshallah, you will make the improvements. Now, this is one small little advice I have for you and myself. And don't let ADHD hold you back as a Muslim. I don't let it hold me back most of the time. And I hope it was useful. If this was value-packed and you can resonate and you feel this made sense to you, why not do the thing everybody does when they end the video, or sometimes they ask at the beginning of the video? I'm rambling. Just give me a subscribe and a like, and I shall see you on the next video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.